he was, on the whole, even though he deplored the taste of the British populace, he actually had very few doubts that they couldn't be relied upon. In fact, had so little imagination they couldn't imagine losing the war. So they said really you didn't need to have war art that was actually too demanding in its claims on the imagination. That portraits were genuinely popular with the public, and even though it was something that Clark never quite sort of understood why the sort of portraits would be so sort of popular, he didn't seem to understand that sort of human element was something that appealed to the wider public. And there were certain artists, even though he had admired them very much, he thought their work wouldn't appeal, wouldn't be suitable in a recording sense, or would actually appeal to the public. There was always that tension about commissioning war art that would have an immediate appeal, and if anything was sort of boost morale in the short term, and then the war art that was going to have an enduring value. And Clark kept coming back to this idea of the record, and of leaving a record of what the nation had done and what had been done to it during the war. And so some artists, even though their work before the war broke out had been regarded as quite avant-garde and challenging, so people like Paul Nash and Piper and Sutherland, and then later on Henry Moore, were proved actually that they could produce work that had this sort of wider appeal. And for Clark, I think abstraction was a problem because it wasn't figurative. That was another way of describing it: non-figurative, non-representational art. I mean, he thought that the ordinary viewer had to have something to latch onto, something that was recognisably connected with the outside world, of the world around them, which a lot of the work that he actually rather liked, by Ben Nicholson, for example, which was about geometric patterns, very sort of attractive, nothing to frighten the horses, but it was quite challenging for somebody who didn't know what sort of geometric abstraction was aiming for.